When I failed an exam, my mom ripped the worksheet out of my hands and screamed, "You are the biggest mistake of my life. Every day I wish I'd had an abortion. You ruined everything I dreamed of." My father didn't even try to protect me. He just looked at me with a cold, contemptuous look and said, "Why are you still here? Nothing will ever come out of you." I stood there trembling while they listed all the reasons why they hated me. In the end, I left, slamming the door. 5 years later, my father left me a voicemail in tears. I don't even know where to begin without sounding dramatic, but I guess I just need to get this out. Maybe if I say it here, it'll finally make sense. My mom and I always had this strange, tense energy between us. She was never the warm, caring type, not like you see in movies or even how some of my friends talk about their moms. Sure, she had her good days, like bringing home my favorite snacks or asking about school once in a while, but most of the time she acted like I was some kind of burden she had to put up with. My dad wasn't much better. He was there but never really present. Always glued to his phone or his laptop, nodding along to whatever my mom said, like some silent, invisible ghost. Our house wasn't a home. It was just a place where I tried to keep my head down, avoiding anything that might set them off. That day started like any other. I got home from school, feeling that heavy weight in my chest because I knew I'd messed up. I failed an important exam, and even though I tried my best, it wasn't enough. My phone was in one hand, the crumpled exam paper in the other. My mom was already in the kitchen, furiously wiping the countertops as if the crumbs had personally offended her. That was always a bad sign. The angrier she got, the more she cleaned. Dad was in his usual spot, hunched over his laptop, pretending not to notice the tension thickening the air. I barely had a chance to speak before my mom's eyes zeroed in on the paper in my hand. Like a hawk, she snatched it away, and it was like she'd been waiting for this moment, her chance to tear me apart. She didn't even look at the grade. Didn't care about the details. She just launched into her usual speech, how I was a disappointment, how she wasted so much money on me, how I never tried hard enough. I tried to explain, to get a word in, but she just got louder, her voice rising to drown out mine. Her words were sharp, like knives, cutting straight through me. And then she said it. Flat, cold, no emotion except maybe a hint of satisfaction. "You were the biggest mistake of my life. Every single day, I wish I had never had you." My throat tightened. My chest felt like it was caving in. I looked at my dad, silently begging for him to say something to stop her. But he just sat there, his expression a mix of disappointment and disgust. Finally, he muttered, "Why are you even still here? You'll never amount to anything." That's when something inside me snapped. A tight, hot rage burned through the shock. I wasn't even thinking anymore. I grabbed my phone, already cracked from some stupid fall weeks ago, and hurled it at the wall. It shattered, the battery cover flying off, and for a second, the kitchen was silent except for the soft clatter of plastic hitting the floor. I turned to leave, but my dad stepped in front of the door, arms crossed like some kind of prison guard. "You're not going anywhere until you clean up your mess," he said, and I knew he didn't just mean the broken phone. He meant me. My existence. The mess I'd apparently made of their lives. I pushed past him, not even caring if he stumbled. My mom's voice was still a sharp, grating noise behind me, something about me better not coming back. She slammed the door so hard it rattled, but I didn't stop walking. I didn't even look back. My feet just kept moving, carrying me down the street without any clear plan. The air was cold, the sky turning that faded orange as the sun dipped lower, and I didn't even know where I was going. I had my wallet in my pocket, the clothes on my back, and a phone that was probably beyond repair. That was it. My whole life reduced to the contents of my jeans. I found myself sitting on the curb, staring at the cracked screen of my phone. Part of me thought about going back, apologizing, trying to make it better somehow. But then I remembered the look on my dad's face, the flat, hateful way my mom had said those words. They didn't want me. They never did. I scrolled through my contacts and found the only name I trusted right now, Trevor. My best friend since middle school. I texted him, a simple, "Can I crash at yours tonight?" I didn't even try to explain. I couldn't. Not yet. I just sat there for a while, the cool air biting at my cheeks, watching the lights in my house flicker through the open window. I could still hear my mom's voice, muffled but angry. I wasn't going back. Not after that. When Trevor finally texted back his address, I forced myself to stand and started walking. Each step felt like breaking through chains, like I was walking out of a cage I hadn't even realized I was in. But beneath that sense of freedom, there was something else, a gnawing, twisting ache. Was I really free? Or had I just thrown myself into something even worse? I didn't have any answers. Not yet. But I knew one thing, I wasn't going back. Not ever. I woke up the next morning on Trevor's old, lumpy couch, staring at the cracks in his ceiling. My head felt like it was stuffed with cotton, and there was this dull, hollow ache in my chest. Part of me expected to wake up in my own bed, for everything that happened to be some kind of twisted dream. But it wasn't. I was here and I wasn't going back. Trevor's mom was already awake, moving quietly around the kitchen, her slippers making soft, shuffling sounds. She saw me, gave me a polite nod, but didn't say anything. I was grateful for that. I didn't want to talk, didn't want to explain. Trevor wandered out of his room a little later, his hair sticking out in every direction. "You good?" he asked, his voice a mix of concern and sleepiness. "Yeah, just needed a place," I mumbled, trying to sound like I had it together. But I didn't. I was hanging on by a thread. "Stay as long as you need, man," he said, grabbing a bowl of cereal. No questions, no pressure. That was the best part about Trevor. But peace didn't last long. My mom found a way to make sure of that. It started with texts, an endless stream of them. The first few were angry, almost predictable. "You're a coward. You're throwing your life away. You'll regret this." But I didn't respond. Then the messages shifted. She began guilt-tripping me, telling me how I was breaking her heart, how she sacrificed everything for me, how I was ruining the family. Each text felt like a hook, digging into my chest, trying to drag me back. But I refused to take the bait. And then she went public. Her Facebook page lit up with these dramatic posts about ungrateful children and the pain of being a parent who is taken for granted. Friends and relatives started commenting, offering her sympathy. "You're such a good mom. Kids today have no respect. Stay strong." It was like she was feeding off their pity. Some of my aunts and cousins started messaging me, telling me I should apologize, that my mom was heartbroken. One of them even said, "Family is everything. Don't throw it away over some argument." Argument? Did they even know what she'd said to me? That she wished I'd never been born? That I was a mistake? I felt my hands shake with anger. I wasn't going to just let her control the narrative. Not this time. I texted a few of them back, sending screenshots of her messages, the cruel, venomous things she'd said. Some of them went silent. Others tried to explain it away. "Oh, that's just how she is when she's upset, right? So that made it okay?" Meanwhile, my dad was silent as a grave. No texts, no calls. He didn't even try to check on me. I guess that was his way of dealing with everything. Pretend it wasn't happening, just like he'd always done. But I knew my mom. She wasn't going to just let this go. And I was right. A few days later, she tried another tactic. She called Trevor's house directly. His mom answered, and I heard her voice from the kitchen, all sweet and desperate. "I'm just so worried about him. He's going through a phase. Please, can you send him home? He needs his family." Trevor's mom looked over at me, and I saw something flicker in her expression. Sympathy? Pity? But she handed me the phone without a word. I didn't even say hello. "Mom, I'm not coming back," I said, keeping my voice steady. Her sweet, worried tone vanished in an instant, replaced by cold fury. "You ungrateful little. Do you have any idea what you're doing to me? The neighbors are asking questions. Your aunts are worried sick. And you're just embarrassing me." "Embarrassing you?" I nearly laughed. "You called me a mistake. You said you wished I'd never been born." "That was in the heat of the moment," she snapped. But there was no regret in her voice, only anger. "You're acting like a spoiled brat. If you don't come home by Friday, I'm selling all your things. And don't think I won't do it." "Do it?" I replied and hung up. My heart was pounding, but I felt lighter, stronger somehow. I wasn't going to let her drag me back. I wasn't going to let her keep controlling me. That's when I knew I had to protect myself. No more being the victim of her narrative. I started making changes, locking down my social media, changing passwords, setting up a new bank account. I told Trevor and a few other close friends not to give my parents any information about me if they asked. Some thought I was being dramatic, but they didn't know my mom like I did. But it wasn't enough. A week later, I found out she'd been contacting other relatives, telling them I was out of control, that I needed help, that I was having a breakdown. I was furious. She was trying to paint me as some reckless, troubled kid, all to save her own image. I wasn't going to sit back and watch her destroy my reputation. If she wanted a fight, I was ready. I posted a simple message on my social media, something direct. Sometimes the people who are supposed to love you the most are the ones who hurt you the deepest. I won't stay silent anymore. I didn't mention her by name, but she knew. And so did everyone else. Her messages turned desperate, flipping between begging me to come home and cursing me for ruining her life. But I didn't reply. I didn't give her the satisfaction. And through it all, my dad stayed silent. A ghost in the background. Just like always. I thought the worst was over after I put up that post on social media. I thought it would finally make her back off, but I underestimated just how desperate my mom was to control the narrative. If anything, she became even more unhinged. She didn't just leave it at the Facebook rants. She started calling relatives one by one, spinning her version of the story, how I had lost my mind, how I was throwing my life away, how I was hanging out with the wrong crowd. Some of them believed her. I started getting texts from cousins and aunts, most of them dripping with judgment. Your poor mom, she's so worried. Why are you putting her through this? Family is all we have, don't be so cruel. Cruel. That word stuck in my head like a splinter. Was it cruel to stand up for myself? Was it cruel to refuse to be a punching bag anymore? I didn't think so. But it seemed like nobody else could see past my mom's carefully crafted sob story. So I decided I wasn't just going to defend myself. I was going to make sure the truth got out. I took screenshots of her texts, the ones where she called me a mistake, told me she wished I'd never been born. I posted them in the family group chat with a simple caption, "This is what I left. This is what you're defending." The group chat exploded. Some people were shocked, others tried to make excuses for her. She was upset. She didn't mean it. Every parent says things they regret. But I wasn't buying it, and I wasn't letting them rewrite the truth. I told them I was done pretending, done being the family scapegoat. That's when my mom's calls turned frantic. I'd gone from being a disobedient child to a troubled, mentally unstable boy. She told everyone I was having a breakdown, that I was lashing out because I was struggling. Anything to make her look like the suffering mother trying to save her lost son. But I wasn't lost. For the first time in my life, I was clear. Then my dad finally made a move, not to talk to me, of course, but to try and use me. I got a text from him after weeks of silence. Just a simple, "We need to talk. It's important." For a second, a small, stupid part of me hoped he might finally have something meaningful to say. Maybe an apology, maybe some recognition of how they'd hurt me. But when I replied, he got straight to the point, "Your mom and I need you to help us with some paperwork. It's for the family. You'll just need to sign a few things." I wasn't an idiot. I knew exactly what this was about. They needed me to co-sign something, probably a loan. Maybe their credit was trashed. Maybe they were desperate. But they didn't want me back because they missed me. They wanted me because I was a tool they could use. I texted him back, "Not interested." He tried again. "You don't understand. We're trying to keep the house. This is for the family. You can't just walk away from your responsibilities." Responsibilities? That word was almost laughable. They'd never seen me as a son, only as a disappointment, a problem. And now I was a solution to their financial mess. "I'm not signing anything. If you keep trying, I'll make sure everyone knows what's really going on," I texted back. That's when his messages turned nasty. "You're selfish. We gave you everything. A roof, food, a future. This is how you repay us." But I didn't bite. I just blocked his number. I was done. But they weren't. A few days later, I got a call from Trevor's mom again. My own mom had tried calling her again, playing the victim, crying about how she was scared for me, how I was being manipulated by bad influences. Trevor's mom handed me the phone, her eyes a mix of worry and frustration. "Mom, stop this," I said, already feeling the familiar anger boiling in my chest. "Stop what? Trying to help my son? Trying to keep you from ruining your life?" She shot back. "Help me." I almost laughed. "You mean control me? That's all this has ever been about. You're a child. You don't know what you're doing. You're being used. They're filling your head with lies," she screamed, her voice rising in pitch. "No one's using me but you," I shot back. "I'm not coming back. I'm not signing anything. Stop calling Trevor's house. Stop pretending you care. Fine. You know what? You're dead to us. Dead. Don't come crawling back when you've destroyed your life." She spat, and I heard the line go dead. I handed the phone back to Trevor's mom, feeling like someone had just punched me in the gut. But I didn't have time to wallow. If they were desperate enough to try and use me for a loan, then I knew they'd try something worse. I locked down everything. Changed passwords, set up two-factor authentication on all my accounts, even called the credit bureaus and placed alerts on my name. I wasn't taking any chances. Then I did something I never thought I'd have the courage to do. I went public. I posted a detailed message on my social media, explaining everything, the years of neglect, the insults, the way they tried to use me even after I left. I attached screenshots of my mom's messages, the cruelest ones. I didn't hold anything back. The reaction was a wildfire. Some people reached out with support, telling me I was brave for standing up. Others tried to defend my parents, saying I was being disrespectful. A few relatives sent me angry messages, but I just blocked them. The fallout was fast. Relatives who had been blindly supporting my parents suddenly went quiet. My mom's social media posts stopped. My dad didn't reach out again. They were cornered, and they knew it. For the first time, they didn't control the narrative. And that's when things really started to fall apart for them. I heard from my cousin Sophie that my parents were fighting constantly. My mom was losing her grip, crying to everyone about how I had betrayed her. My dad, usually the silent background figure, was starting to lose his patience with her. Sophie said he'd even stormed out during one of their arguments, something he never used to do. They tried everything to pressure me. My dad sent a letter, an actual physical letter, begging me to reconsider, to think about the family. I tore it up without reading past the first sentence. They even tried contacting some of my friends, hoping someone would talk sense into me. But Trevor had my back. So did a few others who knew the truth. I knew they were getting desperate, but I wasn't going to be their puppet anymore. If they wanted me to be the villain in their story, fine. But I was done playing the helpless victim. The more they tried to manipulate me, the more I saw just how little they had ever actually cared about me. It was all about control, about appearances, about making sure they looked like the perfect family. But the mask was slipping, and I wasn't going to help them hold it up. I didn't just walk away. I burned the bridge. I made it clear to everyone, friends, family, anyone who asked, exactly what kind of parents they were. And the more I spoke, the quieter they got. The power they had over me was gone. I wasn't scared of them anymore. I was finally free. Months passed, and the silence from my parents became almost eerie. No more angry texts, no desperate calls, nothing. It was like they'd vanished, and for a while, I thought maybe they'd finally given up. I started to settle into a routine. I crashed at Trevor's for a while, picked up extra shifts at a local store, and slowly pieced together something that felt like a life. But peace never lasts long with them. One morning I got a voicemail. It was from my dad, the first time I'd heard his voice in months. He sounded different, strained, almost broken. His voice cracked as he spoke. "Kevin, please. We need to talk. I'm sorry. There are things you need to know. Please call me back." I didn't call him. I couldn't. Not yet. I just replayed the message a few times, trying to figure out if there was any sincerity in his voice or if it was just another manipulation. Then came another message, this time from my mom. But it wasn't an apology. It was venom. "I hope you're happy. You've ruined everything. If you think you can just walk away, you're wrong. You will regret this." Regret? I didn't feel regret. I felt nothing. It was like some switch inside me had been flipped. I deleted her message without a second thought. But the messages kept coming. My dad called again, practically begging. He said they were losing the house, that they needed my help. He said he was sorry, that he should have protected me, that he should have stopped my mom when she went too far. But the more he talked, the clearer it became this wasn't about me. It was about them. About their problems, their mess. I was just a tool again. "Kevin, please. I know we've made mistakes, but you can't just abandon your family. You're our only child. Family is supposed to help each other. I needed help when I lived there. You didn't care. You let her tear me apart. So now it's your turn to deal with the fallout," I replied, voice steady. I hung up before he could say anything else. A few days later, I got a letter in the mail. It was from their bank. My parents had tried to list me as a co-signer on a loan without my consent. My name, my information, all filled in without my permission. They were that desperate. Furious, I didn't just ignore it. I took a photo of the letter and emailed the bank directly. "I do not consent to this loan. My parents have fraudulently used my information. If you attempt to use my name for any financial agreements, I will pursue legal action. I wasn't playing anymore. Then I sent a group text to the extended family with the screenshot. Just so you know, my parents are trying to use my name for loans. I won't be helping them. Don't ask me about it. Some family members tried to stay neutral, but others went silent. My mom's perfect image was finally cracking. The fallout was immediate. I heard from Sophie that my parents were fighting constantly. My dad had started sleeping in the guest room. Their financial situation was crumbling. They couldn't refinance the house, couldn't get another loan. My mom tried to host family gatherings, but most relatives stopped coming. People were tired of the drama, tired of the lies. Their house went into foreclosure. I heard about it from Sophie, who sent me a quiet, almost sad message. They're losing everything. But I didn't feel sorry for them. They had built their world on control, on manipulation, and it was all crashing down. Eventually, they were forced to move into a tiny, rundown apartment on the edge of town. My dad tried calling one last time, leaving another desperate voicemail. Kevin, please? We have nothing. Your mom is struggling. I know we hurt you, but we're still your parents. But I didn't reply. I didn't need to. There was nothing left to say. Weeks turned into months. I got a better job, saved up enough to get my own small place. A life of my own without their shadow hanging over me. Sometimes I would see my dad around town, walking with hunched shoulders, looking like a ghost of the man who used to sit at the kitchen table, ignoring me. He'd sometimes look at me, a flicker of recognition, but I never stopped. I never waved. And my mom? She didn't even try anymore. She was just gone. No more messages, no more fake apologies, no more manipulations. Just silence. I thought maybe I'd feel some kind of triumph. That I'd won. But the truth is, there was no victory here. Just freedom. And sometimes on quiet nights, I'd think about them, about everything they'd done, and I'd feel nothing. Not anger. Not sadness. Just a calm emptiness. They tried to break me, but I broke free instead. If that makes me the villain in their story, then so be it. But I'm not the one begging for help, staring at a locked door, hoping someone still cares. I'm not the one who lost everything.